Now let's review from the top a simple example of I/O and memory interaction to finalize this training session. Let's assume that we have a limit switch connected to a discrete input module having an address 000013, which is mapped, according to our previous memory map, to word 0000 in the input table, and that we also have a pilot light connected to a discrete output module's terminal, which corresponds to address 001006, which is mapped to output table word 0010 bit or terminal 06. Now these two input and output devices may represent the PLC program implementation of a simple hardwired relay logic like this, meaning that if the limit switch closes, the pilot light turns on because of power continuity. The input-output interaction represented by this circuit logic goes something like this. When the processor is executing the control program, it will examine the status of the limit switch input, and if the limit switch is not on or closed, a 0 is placed in bit 13 of input word 0000. If the switch is closed, a 1 is placed in bit 13. The light will be on when bit 06 of word 0010 is on, or 1. The light will be off when bit 06 is 0. Remember that the output status of the field device is updated at the end of every scan. If we program a rung such as this, where the set of contacts 000013 represents the address of the limit switch input, and the output 001006 represents an output address for the pilot light, the same logic will be followed where the output light will be on every time the limit switch closes. The processor examines this input, executes this instruction, and updates the output at speeds of up to 1,000 or more times per second. Remember when we talked about multiple usage of contacts? Well, in a PLC system, you have contacts even from outputs that drive pilot lights. You can use the same reference address, 001006, which is an output, to program another input which is internal to the PLC and can be used to drive another internal output, such as 002017, which is not mapped to an external output and belongs to the bit 17 of word 0020, which is the first word of the internal address in our configured memory map. The use of contacts from outputs can be used as often as required, and note that if the limit switch closes, the light will be on, and the contact 001006 will close and turn internal output 002017 on. It simply follows the logic.